Hello, everyone, and welcome to E2 School. Today, you're here with me. My name is Kay, and we're going to go through one of the level 2 classes. The topic today is competitions. So we're in the topic of sport, and we're looking at lesson 3 about competitions. And today's grammar is going to be modals of ability. Now, there are lots and lots of different modal verbs. So today's focus is just on the ones of ability. If you want to know more, stay with me and we'll get to that in the lesson. Now, for the moment, I want to know a few things from you guys. So let's start with, is my technology working? So can you hear me? If you can, at the bottom of the screen, there is a little button that looks a little bit like this. And I just want you to type yes or no in the chat box if you can hear me and if you can see my screen. Excellent. This is good. So my technology is working. That's always good to know. Now let's look at your technology. So for anyone who has been with me before, you already know how to use the chat box. Great. But let's go through it for the new people. So what do we use the chat box for? So what you need is that little button at the bottom that says chat. And what you do is every time I ask a question, you type your answer in the chat box. Now, don't worry if you get the answer wrong, that's fine. It gives me a lot of ideas about what you need to learn and what we need to spend a bit more time on. And it's also okay if you guess, that's fine as well. Now, the other thing you can do is ask me questions. So if you're not sure about something, please type that and put it in the chat box. I will try and answer all the questions, but I might not be able to answer them right at that moment. So just wait. I might need to finish the activity we're doing and then I can answer your question. Now, the second thing you'll find is this bit at the bottom, which is about who can see what you write. So if you choose all panelists, this means me, the teacher, just me. So I will get a private message from you. If you choose the second one, this is all panelists and attendees. This means it will go to me and all the students in the class. So this is what I would like everyone to choose so that we can chat together and be more like a real classroom. So can you please choose all panelists and attendees? Also, if we're looking at grammar and sentences, I'm only going to talk about the ones that everyone can see so that everyone can understand what the sentence is that we're looking at. So make sure you choose all panelists and attendees. Now, if you're doing this with us on YouTube, you have your chat box on YouTube. So just type your answers in the chat box and your questions as well. I do get to see those. So hello to everyone. So I'd like to start by checking that you can use this button, the all panelists and attendees. So I want everyone to type something for me. Now, what our topic is today is about competitions. So I want to know if you have been in a competition and did you what was the competition? What was the topic of the competition? So if you have been in a competition, what was the competition? Did you win? Tell us more. So can you type in your chat box if you have been in a competition or not? So don't forget to share with everyone. Ooh, Rexy, that's a word I've not seen before. Aquathlon. Is that something that is a mixture of like aqua as in water and thalon, so like some kind of athletics kind of combination? So Pahanya says she has been in a competition and it was a swimming competition and you won second place. Congratulations, Pahanya. Rexy says an aquathlon is a swimming and a running race. So you get to do both of those activities. Woo. I know that there is a triathlon, which is try for 3. And I know that you get to do swimming and running. And I think the third one is with a bicycle, cycling. So this looks like you get to do 2 parts of it. It still sounds like a lot of work. Nice work, Mohammed. There is also, of course, the other type of competition when you're studying. So it's a medical exam. I would probably not usually describe a medical exam as a competition because you don't usually have first place as an award, a result, because normally with exams we're looking at passing, failing, or awarding a grade of some mark. But I do know that there are some times within universities, if you do your exam, you can have the person with the best results as the winner, and they might be given some kind of prize, like maybe a scholarship or something. Was that what was happening for you? Was it at university, Mohammed? So yes, we have lots of different types of competitions, and congratulations for everyone who has added some information. You did that perfectly. So don't forget, for in the future, if you want to share it with the class, you need to use the all panelists and attendees. Oh, and I have another competition from Gilessa. She says she has been in a competition and it was Arnis, and I won the grand champion. What is Arnis? I have never heard of this. Oh, Rexy knows Arnis as well. Ooh, what is Arnis? What is the, like, is it a sport or is it something else? So maybe Glissa and Rexy will get back to us and tell us what Arnis is. Oh, okay. Rexy just said Filipino Southeast Asian game. What is it, the game? Is it like a football competition or is it a specific sport that you get in the Philippine country area? And congratulations on Grand Champion. I think that title is definitely a title I know, and that sounds like it is a major achievement. So congratulations, Gilessa. So that's what we're looking at today. We are looking at competitions. Oh, sorry, I've got a bit more information. Let me continue with this before we go on to the next bit of the lesson. Rexy says that Arnis is karate Plu Arnis, also known as Kali or Eskrima, is a national martial arts of the Philippines. So it's a type of karate. Wow. So it sounds like Gilessa is someone we should be having around for protection. Pahania says she's doing Taekwondo. Yes, that sounds a little bit like this. And in Arnis, Gilessa says you use a rattan as a sword. Wow, that sounds really, really cool. Oh, yes. And Prasanna is just talking about the time. Just as a reminder for everyone, if you look in your student account, there was a notification in the community posts about the time. Last weekend, the time changed in Melbourne, which means all classes changed. We moved forward 1 hour, which means that for a lot of countries where your time doesn't move, it might have moved back 1 hour for you, or maybe you also are moving in your time zone. So please, please, please make sure you're checking your live class calendar and looking at the times, because all the times might be different for you. But yes, we have a new time zone. It is called daylight savings. So it gets a bit complicated because not everywhere uses it. So hey, it's what happens. So yes, and Rexy says, I like the new time zone. Oh, it's good for your lunch break. Excellent. I'm glad to know. So as I said, let's continue with the lesson. And I just want to remind everyone, if you want to join us in the Facebook group, I'll share this link at the end and it will let you guys talk together, and maybe you can find study partners or people you can chat with and things like that. So for everyone on YouTube, if you want to join us and do this lesson properly, you do need to come to e2school.com, and you will find that today we are doing a level 2 class. So this is the intermediate level. If you're feeling that this is a bit easy, there are higher levels and there are also lower level classes as well. The other two things that I would recommend for everyone to use after today is the speaking lab and the grammar review. So if you're finding that you're having trouble with some of the sounds we're looking at today, that's what Speaking Lab is for. You can go in and focus on those individual sounds. Grammar Review is 100% free, so make sure you've got that in your account. And today's topic is modal verbs. So you can go into Grammar Review and do all the lesson, the whole lesson on modal verbs, and all the listening, reading, writing, speaking practice as well. But today's is an extra lesson on modal verbs of a specific category. We're just looking at modal verbs of ability. Prasanna says that he has found adverb topics. Yes, in the Grammar Review, there are topics on adverbs, but remember the Grammar Review is only the general overview. So it's just the basic summary of all the adverbs or all the modal verbs and things like that. So that's what you'll find. But yes, if you want to access level 2 and do this fully, you will need to upgrade to one of the paid accounts. So Pratika, good work. Thank you for reminding me. So if you want to access the full lesson, all the grammar parts, you will need to be on bronze at least. If you want to do the tests, which is the writing and writing test, you will need the silver level. So bronze is minimum, and that would be the basic one, and you'll get all the lessons that we're doing today. So the other one to remind everyone is if you go over to my sister's school, this is e2language.com, you'll be able to get more help if you're wanting to focus on one of the big tests. So what are we doing today? Well, we're doing level 2. And what are we doing in level 2? We are doing, here we go, we are doing sport, and we are up to lesson number 3. So today we are starting with the first half, which means we're going to do listening, reading, and vocabulary. And on Friday with Amber, you'll get to go through the writing and the speaking sections. So if you want to do what we're doing today, make sure you go into the listening topic, the reading topic, and the vocabulary topic, sport, and then lesson 3. That's where you'll find it. So let's begin the lesson. Okay, so when we're looking at competitions, when we're looking at the lesson, we always start with a video. There we go. And this is Amber. If you haven't met her yet, please join her on Friday for the lesson. So Amber has a video here for you, and it's all about competitions. And this is under vocabulary, and this is real life tips. So I want you to come back and watch this video and do the activity in it too. Now, what we've got here is we're focusing on 3 ways to talk about competitions, because in English, we have lots of different words that mean the same thing. So I want to know what you guys know. So in your chat box, can you type any other words you know that also mean competition? So we've got competition, but what else? Pahania, great word, race. What other words do you guys know? Ooh, nice. We have challenge or game, rivalry. Nice. Now, again, the problem here is what kind of competition we're focusing on as to which one of these words we would use. So this is why I want you to come back and watch this video so that you can work out what words go for which categories, what type of competitions. Oh, and Keith has also given us the word battle, and that's definitely a word you can use, even though there's the old idea of battle, which was to do with war, and we've got the new idea of battle, which I see in a lot of TV shows, like reality TV shows. So, oh yes, and nice word, Sergio and Prasanna, contest. So I think competition and contest are the most common synonyms. So come back and watch this video so you can learn the rest of it yourself. So what are we going to do today? Well, we are going to focus on the phrasal verbs, do some listening and some reading, and then the modal verbs focusing on abilities. So what I want to do is start with these phrasal verbs. I want to know what you guys know from this list already. So I'm going to give you a definition, and what I want you to do is type the phrasal verb that matches it into the chat box. Now, don't forget, phrasal verbs are when you have a verb and a preposition and you put them together, and they often have a different meaning. It could be one preposition like up, out, against, or it could be two prepositions put together. So try, out, for. So you would have to have all three of those words. Okay, the definition is this is the action that you use when you want to join a team and you have to show them your sporting skills before you can become a member. So when you want to join a team and you have to show them your sporting skills before you can become a member. Which word is that? Excellent. Nice work, everyone. And so the one we're looking for is try out for. That's the one there. So that is the phrasal verb that is when you, I guess it's like a test. You have to show them how good you are, and then they might pick you for the team. Hopefully you get in. So let's go and look at these in a little bit more detail by starting the lesson. Okay, so we're going to start with phrasal verbs, and I want you to match the phrasal verb with the definition. So let me just get the whole list up. And here we go. There is our list, all 6 of our words. So we have 6 words, 6 phrasal verbs, and 6 definitions. So which one of those is the one that we just looked at? Try out for. Can you type in your chat box number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Which one of those means try out for? Everyone is in agreement. You have all gone for number 2. So I will put it there, and you are right. To compete for a position on an athletic team. Now, it doesn't have to be just athletics, but this is most popular as a category. Prasanna has just asked me, is it cold or warm there? Ooh, this is Melbourne. And so, you know, Melbourne, we get a little bit of everything. Last weekend, it was really nice and warm. We got to 28 degrees, I think. So for us, that was really hot. But today, we're back to being cold again, wet and rainy. So normal. Okay, you guys have got the idea. So let's look at the other words in the list. So my next word is keep up. So is that number 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Which number is keep up? Okay, it looks like everyone has gone for number 4. Okay, next word is play against. So 1, 3, 5, or 6. Okay, you guys are all giving me the same number, which means this is a good sign. Everyone agrees. All right, next word is put in. And so often we're talking about effort. Put in effort. So is this 1, 3, or 6? Okay, that one had a little bit more debate, but most people are giving me number 3. So I'll put it there. So that leaves us with 2 more. Set off as number 1 or number 6. Okay, that looks like a number 6. So hopefully the last word, try out for, is meant to be number 1. Are you happy with that? Do you want me to push submit? Oh, sorry, you're right. I missed the word. Kick out. There it is. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Pratika. You got the right word. So are you happy with that as it is now? Excellent. And I always think it's a good thing when you're doing anything, if it's a practice or a test, to review and make sure that you got the right answer in the right place. Because, like I just did, it's very easy to make a mistake with clicking buttons. So let's push submit and see how you went. And congratulations, well done. You got them all right. So, what this means is if you chose those words to match those definitions, then you've got it. You understand. Good work. But for anyone who made a mistake, make sure you write that phrase down. That's the one you need to learn. That's the one to study. So, what I want you guys to do is come back here and look at activity 2 and do this yourself so you can practice using those phrasal verbs. So, what you need to do is choose the correct phrasal verb. Each of these will be used once in the gaps, and then you push submit. You can check how you go. Now, make sure if you're not sure, make sure you go back up to activity 1 and look at those definitions again. And yes, Prasanna, it is reading today, but first we're going to move on and do a listening activity using these phrasal verbs. So our first activity is listening, and I want to listen to, we have the first story is listening to the news report on TV. So listen to the story, there is your question, and there are your answers, and submit. Or we have question 2. We have Dave and Elsa choosing a TV show to watch. There is their recording. There are our choices, and they've given us the words as well. And number 3, we have Dave and Steve talking about a match they watched. But I think this one looks good because it looks interesting with these pictures of these sports. So let's do this one together. So my first thing I want to check is about the people who are talking. So Dave and Elsa, which one is the male, Dave or Elsa? Excellent. I'm glad everyone agrees. Dave is a very, very traditional name for a guy in English, and Elsa is normally a female's name. I think it has become very popular thanks to the movie Frozen. So that is Dave and that is Elsa. So this is important because it helps me when I listen check which voice I should focus on. So my question is, what are they going to watch? So it's not just him or her, but both of them. So this is the thing that they both will agree on. So here are our 3 choices. We have A, B, and C. Now, what are these? So in your chat box, can you type what these sports are that you can see in the pictures? Oh, and yes, Pahania, you've got it. Elsa and Anna for Frozen. Okay, looking at this, I think everyone has gone for car race, more specifically Formula One. So good work, Saritha. That is definitely the type of car race. I think it's the style of car. More than that, I'm not sure about. Car racing is a great general name, so that works. Number 2 is boxing. And the reason I know this is because they are wearing the gloves that make their hands really big. So this is definitely boxing. If it is more than just using your hands, if it's using your feet as well, then it might have a different name. And I'm not sure if they're doing that or not, but definitely boxing would work. And number 3 is tennis. Someone gave me the word badminton, which is a great word and a lovely sport. So if you look at Saritha, the spelling is perfect, badminton. This one is not what I see in this picture, and Kush also has the word badminton. The difference between tennis and badminton, the thing that is in one of his hand, this is a racket. It looks a little bit different for badminton, but the bigger difference is the ball. So I would definitely recommend doing a Google search and looking up badminton, and you will see that the ball for badminton looks a little bit different. The official name is a really strange word. It's called shuttlecock, and I'm not actually sure what it is. It's kind of part ball and part something else. So it's definitely worth looking up that one if you want to see what it looks like. But this is definitely tennis, looking at that there. Oh, and the net, yes, Sergio, you're right. The net is different for tennis and for badminton. Tennis is a lower one, badminton is up higher. Oh, and Pahanya's just given you guys some extra information. I'm guessing this is from Wikipedia or something like that, Pahanya. So have a read of what Pahanya has just added in. That's the official description of badminton. Oh, Google, even better. And yes, Keith has also said badminton has lighter rackets. So there's another difference. But I think that they're both very similar. But for our listening, we are focusing on tennis. And we know because we've also got the words. So Formula One racing, boxing, or a tennis match. So what I want to do is listen and get you guys to decide. So I'm going to turn off my camera for a minute and let you guys listen to Elsa talking to, what was his name, Dave, about the TV shows. And I want you guys to decide A, B, or C. So all you need to do is type those letters in the chat box when you are sure. And which TV show are they going to watch? So here we go.
So Dave, what's on telly today?
There's an action movie about a boxer who fights cancer. Then I want to watch the live final of the tennis. Federer is playing against Nadal.
Oh, really? I'm not in the mood for tennis, and I've seen that film before. Can we watch that new documentary about Lewis Hamilton?
The Formula One driver?
Yes, he put in a lot of effort to become one of the best drivers in the world.
It sounds interesting, but Elsa, you can watch the documentary anytime. It's no fun watching a tennis match if it isn't live.
Oh, all right then. But I want to watch the documentary after.
Okay, so what do you guys think? Is it A, B, or C? Which one are they going to watch together? And I'm really sorry if the sound wasn't coming through 100%. I'm not going to be able to fix that. That's pretty much the best I can get it for today. But what you can do is come back and listen to this fully yourself. And that way you can listen more than once if you need to as well. So let's try C, since that's what everyone has given me as their choice. And let's submit. And congratulations. Yes. So what we were focusing on was there were 3 different TV shows and they both wanted to watch something different. I think he said he wanted to watch boxing, a movie about boxing, and she had already watched it. But Elsa, yes, she wanted to watch a documentary and it was about Formula One, one of the drivers. But he said that the problem is you should watch the game live, which means happening right now when it's being filmed. So that's why they've decided to watch the tennis together. So congratulations if you got that one right. If you didn't, I still would recommend coming back and listening again. And that way you can hear this in better quality as well. And yes, Prasanna, going to is the plan. What are they planning? So make sure you also come back and listen to the first listening and the third listening as well. What we are going to do though for the moment is move on and look at the reading. Right, reading. We have, let me just move this a bit. So with the reading, actually, I'm going to change my screen share. There we go. Okay, so with the reading, this is something you'll find in real life text. And what you've got is 3 different pictures. So picture 1 is question 1. So there is our question. There is our picture. So you need to read that one and answer that question. And at the bottom is the arrow. If you click on this, we get picture 2. And this is matching question 2. So make sure you match the right question. And then we go on to picture 3 and we have question 3. So let's do that one today. So what is the right answer? So I'm going to turn off my camera and I want you guys to read the email and decide about Amy. So type A, B, or C in the chat box when you're ready. And yes, Pahania, no problem. Bye. See you next time. And yes, go and watch the recording. It should be there in about 24 hours. So for everyone else, please read and type your choice, A, B, or C, in the chat box. Okay, looks like everyone has chosen, and the popular choice is C. So I'll put that in and let's see how you went. Congratulations. Now, let's go through the others and look at why. So Keith has just said, Nathan asks if it's okay to publish her details. Yes, exactly. So permission, this is the same as, is it okay to publish your details? So this is the first thing that we definitely have is true. She needs to give permission to share her details online because that is a summary of that point there. But let's look at the other two answers as well. Number A, call Nathan to confirm her personal details. Why is this one wrong? It's got some of that information in here. It says, please reply within 5 days to confirm your name and address. So that is personal details. But why is A wrong? Yes, Keith, you've got it. So if it says any questions, call here, could Amy call? Yes. What is another option if she wants to reply? What's the other choice for replying? Email, you got it. So normally if you reply, you are going to send an email or write an email. And so this is why number A is wrong, because yes, she can call, but she doesn't have to. She can do it by email. So if she sends an email that says, yes, my name and address is correct, and yes, it's okay to publish my details, that will be fine. She will get her prize. But if she has more questions, she can use the phone number to call. Her second choice is that she can call and do all of this at the same time. But so number C doesn't say if she has to do this by phone or by email. It says she has to do it. Number B, why is B wrong? So it says share her winning photo on social media. So it says winner of sports photography. So yes, winning photo. And social media. So we have a social media page. Yes. But why is B wrong? I'll give you a clue. Who is going to do the sharing on social media? Exactly, Keith. The photo is either already shared on social media or the competition people will share it soon. So the idea is that she doesn't have to do the sharing. they will do the sharing. So the social media that it will be shared on is what they control at Sports Photo. So this is why number B is not correct, because it's not about her. And if we use it this way, that means she has to do the sharing, and that's not correct. And yes, Saritha, I agree. I think my guess would be that Nathan is probably going to do the action and do the sharing. And so, yes, he is asking for her permission, like Sergio says. And that's why B is wrong as well. So C is the best answer out of those. And so that is why it's correct. So congratulations, everyone. So I want you to come back, make sure you click on the arrows and look at picture 1 and picture 2 and answer the other 2 questions. But we are going to move on and look at the grammar. Let me just change my screen. Right, our grammar for today, we are looking at modal verbs. So, how do you talk about your abilities, whether it is in the present or the past? So, this is what we're focusing on. Modal verbs only focusing on abilities. So, let's look at this. If we're focusing on the present, let me make this even bigger. There we go. If we're focusing on a present ability, then there are 2 choices. Number 1, we can say, I can. Number 2 is, I am able to. Of course, I am changes depending on the pronoun. So can will be joined by a verb, and you do not change this verb. This verb stays exactly as it is. So run, speak, ski, those 3 verbs are the base verb. They look the same in present simple as well. So I can run, she can speak, they can ski. Now the good news is there is no change because of that pronoun. So when you use can, it is exactly the same for all people that you're talking about. But Prasanna's got it. When we look at the second one, we have to check. So if it is I, we use am, he, she, it, is, you, they, and we are. So make sure you learn your verb to be and which form of it we need for with the pronoun. If you're not sure about that, go and look at the basic verb lessons as well. But it is the verb to be with, able to, and the verb. Now, again, the verb does not change. It's the base verb. It is exactly as it is. Able to also doesn't change. It stays exactly like this all the way through. The only thing I'm changing is that blue part, the verb to be. So that's the only change. Otherwise, I can change all of those sentences around. Okay, don't forget about contractions. So when we're speaking, we usually make it more informal and combine the I am and make it I'm able to. Let's look at negatives. If we use this in negative, we either use can't or cannot. Now, be careful with this one. Cannot is one word. There is no space. This is the only one in English. Be careful. It's a special one. And if you say cannot, it's probably, I would say it's a little bit more formal and it's often a little bit stronger. So if I say, I can't hear you, normal. I cannot hear you is a bit stronger. That's the big difference. Otherwise, you can use either. And again, with this, I don't change, the verb stays exactly the same, and I don't need to change this depending on the pronoun. But you have a second choice. You can also use the verb to be, and again, we will change it. I am not, or I'm not. She is not, she isn't. And we are not, or we're not, or we aren't. You can use unable. So able, the negative is unable. This is a very formal option and it is possible to use this. So instead of saying not able, I would say I am unable. And again, you don't need to change this. It will be the same for he, she, it, and everything, because the verb to be is the part that changes. So let's look at contractions. When we make a contraction with the negative, there is a little bit of a difference. Number one, I am is the only one with one choice. I can only say I'm not. But when I do he, she, it, we, you, they, these all have two choices and both of them are correct. It just depends on your choice. She's not or she isn't. We're not or we aren't. Both are the same and they have exactly the same meaning. What about questions? So if I use can, I move that to the beginning position. Can plus subject plus verb and extra information. If I use the verb to be, I move that to the first position and then I still have my subject. So is she able to fix? So both verbs go together and then the extra information. Right. So hopefully you're feeling pretty good about present. Now let's look at past. So again, there are two choices. We have could or was able to. What is the past? What is the present form of could? So in your chat box, what is could in present? Yes, exactly. You've got it. So can in the present, could in the past. That's the connection. And so I was able to in the present. Yes, so I was able to is the past. How do I say it in the present? Rexy's got it. I am able to. So that is the connection. It's the same in meaning. It's just that I'm going to change the verb for could to show that it's a past idea and was to show it's a past idea. So let's look at this in a bit more detail. Could and a verb, exactly the same as using the word can, the same rule. The verb could doesn't change depending on the pronoun. It's the same for all of it. And you just add the verb as the verb. You don't make any changes. So the difference here is that all of these are past events. And this is what it means when you tell me could. It's not, be careful with could because could has more than one meaning. You can use could to talk about possibilities. In these sentences, this is not what this means. This is talking about a past ability. The reason why I know this is because we have another past idea, when I was young, and we're telling the information about what I could, my skill was, my ability when I was young. She could walk when she was 1 year old. Again, was. But in both of these, we've moved the position of the time information. This one here is an interesting one because it doesn't tell me that it is past. They could see the finish line, but it is past, and the rest of the paragraph, the rest of the information would probably make that a bit clearer. So it is possible to just use it on its own in one sentence. Okay, the other option is was or were. So again, that verb to be, in the past, we need to use was or were. Now, if you're not sure about these, make sure you go and check your past verb rules and you'll learn about was and were. Okay, next one, negatives. So could becomes couldn't, was becomes wasn't, were becomes weren't. Questions. We move could into the first position. Was and were moves into the first position. Oh, and the extra thing, if you notice, there is time. Last night, last week. And when we did this with could, in the 1800s, when you were a kid. So normally when we use could and was or were, we're adding extra time information to make it clear that we're talking about the past. So let's review. If we're using present and can, the positive sentence is I can run fast. Negative, they can't run fast. Question, can she run fast? In the past, we change can into could. you could run fast, and we add some time information. He couldn't, again, time information, and could you. So the question is the same, it's just changing the option. If we use this for be able to, present would be I am not, are they, are you. Past, he was, she was he. So we're looking at those. So do you feel like you've got it? I hope you understand. So what I'm going to do is leave it on this and look at our activity. So I want to look at activity number 1. So here is the activity. So let's use these rules looking at activity 1. Now, you can't use you can use more than one choice. So to make it a bit more specific, we've given you 4 choices. So you have to choose one from that menu. Which one of those is okay to finish this sentence? Oh, before I continue, while you read and decide on question number 1, Prasanna has just asked, what can we use for the future? So when you're talking about future in English, present and future are connected. So can or I am able to, they would be the same thing. And it's talking about now and future. If you want to be more specific, I would add time. Next week, I probably would even use will. Next week, I will be able to. So I would use that idea of able to and use that for the future. Okay, so it looks like for number 1, everyone has gone for can't or couldn't, not able to and weren't able to. Good. These 2 don't fit because there is no to. We're missing the to before the verb. So good work. It's not number 3 or 4. So is it can't or couldn't? So this is present or past. Is this activity a present activity or a past activity? What word tells me about the time? Most of you have got it, but which word is my clue in this sentence? So because the verb is not there and we need to add it, the other clue is that word earlier. And so that is the clue that tells me past. So I couldn't get back to you earlier. This means before now. So this is not now, but past. Might not be much in the past, but it still is past. And get back to you. Yes, I would agree. It does give me a little bit of an idea that it's sort of returning a phone call. So this is what we need. Okay, let's do number 2. I was in meetings all day also gives me the extra clue about time. Just letting you know, to make it to the party tonight. So can't, couldn't, not able to, weren't able. Which one of those? And again, there is a word that is a clue. Let's have a look at that word there. What does that word tell me that we need for my gap for this one? So can I use can't or couldn't? Because we have the word to. Can't to make it? No. Couldn't to make it? Which means it's going to be I'm not able to. No problem. I weren't able to. I'm not able to. So I am perfect. Yes, Rexy, reading skills. And this is part of where it's worth checking the rest of the story to make sure it makes sense. The other thing we have is that it's a party tonight. So we're talking about present, which means it has to be I am or I can. So the alternative would be I can't make it, but because we have a to, we can't use that one. Okay, number 3. Oh, it says, I called all 3 babysitters, but they something to come around tonight. What do you think? And again, did you find the clue? We have 2. So that gives us the choice that it has to be one of the bottom 2. And do we want I am or they weren't? So they plural, so they weren't able to come round tonight. Let's catch up soon though. I'm free anytime next week, but I... And yes, so Prasanna's question earlier about future, this is kind of that future. I am free anytime next week, but I can't do Friday. So this is that future idea. So this is where present and future are a little bit mixed together in English. So again, what we're looking for is words in the sentence that tell me about time, verbs, other verbs that tell me about time, and whether or not there is the word to before the verb or not, for which group you can use. So make sure you look for all of those things when you're doing an activity like this. So let me expand this box so that we can submit and see how you went. And congratulations, you've got it perfect. So what I want you guys to do is come back and look at it in more detail. The first thing you'll find is there is the answers explained box where you can get a little bit more detail about each of these answers. So again, whether it's past or present. So if you're not sure, come back and check there. And then you can come back and try activity 2. So exactly the same thing. And it's a really good reading test for you all because again, we've got the same problem. And again, the answers are explained underneath. But I would check these once you've submitted to make sure you feel comfortable. So then we are going to move on and do some speaking. So what is our speaking activity? Well, I want you to practice saying exactly what we've been looking at with this grammar. So first of all, we need to test your listening skills. I want you to write what you hear. Don't forget that we're looking for full sentences, which means capital letters and full stops. When we've done that, we'll look at number 3 and 4. But for the moment, let's just look at this part here. Okay, so I'm going to turn off my camera and play this audio a couple of times for you guys. I want you to write it in the chat box. What is the sentence?
I can speak 3 languages fluently. I can speak 3 languages fluently. I can speak 3 languages fluently. I can speak 3 languages fluently.
Wow, you guys are fast. Whew. Not only are you fast at getting the answer, but you're fast at typing. And so the answer I get from you all is I can speak 3 languages fluently. Now you can choose either the word 3 or the number 3. Both of these will be fine. So it doesn't matter which one you choose, but there you go, you got it. Okay, I want to do one more just to check your listening. So let's do number 2 as well.
He can talk about his feelings easily. He can talk about his feelings easily. He can talk about his feelings easily. He can talk about his feelings easily.
So I can see there's a bit of a debate between can and could. Which one is he saying?
He can talk about his feelings easily.
Yep, it's can. So he can talk about his feelings easily. And again, if you got that, congratulations. Now, what I want to do is test you guys on the second part, which is recording yourself. So what we need to do is this part here. So number 3 says we now use the record audio button and we say that sentence that we got right. And then afterwards, the computer will analyze our sentence and tell us how good our accuracy is. So all you need to do is go down and look at the sentence. There's my sentence, it's correct. And there's my record audio. Now, I would always make sure that you've got your audio turned on and that it's reasonably quiet around you. And if you're having audio recording problems, try the troubleshooting tips. But all you need to do is get your microphone and say that sentence in green. So let me try it for you. I can speak 3 languages fluently. So push stop and the computer will do its thing. And here is our result. And yay, this is the highest you'll get, 99. Now this tells me that I am doing fine. This is not a problem. But what I'd like to remind everyone about is this. If you are getting yellow or green, you should be happy because this means most people will understand you. Remembering that there might be some variance because of accent as well as connected speech. The problems are when you get the red showing up. And how do we see this? Well, we can click on these words and see a bit more information. So like this one, it's a bit yellow. Ah, there we go. We've got a red. So this one here is the vowel sound in the middle of speak. It's not a huge problem. Overall, people will understand me really well because I'm getting a green overall result. However, this tells me that that I sound is not completely clear, and this could be based on my accent. If you find this is something that you get all the time, that that sound is a problem, then I would recommend doing some practice in Speaking Lab with that sound so that you can improve it. But for the moment, I want to let you guys have a go at speaking. So does anyone want to let me turn on their microphone so that I can get you guys to say this sentence here on the screen? And Prasanna, you said it's not working. I'm assuming you're meaning the recording button is not working. It shouldn't be about needing an upgrade. That should work, which means it sounds like it could be about your computer connection. So please try the troubleshooting tips because it should be, you have to allow your microphone and you have to allow the setting for processing because it's done by, like it records your voice and then it sends it off for analysis. So if your setting is not correct, it won't let, your computer won't be letting it happen. So if it's still a problem, please take a photo of what's happening and send us a message and we can have a go at it. Okay, so from what I could see there, I could see Salah looks like he was really, really wanting to have a go. So I'm going to turn on Salah. Oh, my buttons have changed. So Salah, I'm not sure how I turn on your microphone. Let's try this. Salah, can you hear me? So you don't need to turn on your camera, but you do need to turn on your microphone. Okay, so your microphone is good. Now, hello, Salah. Can you guys hear Salah, or is it just my side that I can't hear Salah? Oh, good. It's not just me. That's okay. That's better than last time I tried this where you guys could hear it and I couldn't. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening, Salah. So what I might do is try someone else. And so I'm going to change you back to attendee. And I know that Prasanna, I'll try you because I know this has worked for you before. Oh, yours is much, much easier. We have an allow to talk button. Let's try the old button
Yeah,
and
hi,
see.
Kellen.
Hi, yay, that's much,
Yeah.
much better. Okay, so
Let's
let's
do it. Yeah.
let's have a go with Prasanna. So Prasanna, can you say the sentence for me that you see on the
Yeah,
screen?
sure. Yeah, sure. I will try. I can speak 3 languages fluently.
Lovely. So for me, the only sound that is a little bit difficult is that last word,
Yeah.
fluently.
Fluently.
So what I think is the problem is the combination vowels, the two vowels, the U and the E. Don't do it as two sounds, do it as one sound.
Okay. Fluently.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. So if you're just making it faster, it makes it more smooth. And that's the one. So try the whole sentence again.
I can speak 3 languages fluently.
When you're thinking about it, try
I
fluently.
can speak 3.
Fluently.
Yeah, I can speak 3 languages fluently.
Much, much better. So I think what you need to be doing is practice that word.
Yeah, fluently making hard for that F sound.
Yep.
F sound making
There
me
you
hard
go.
to speak
No
fast.
problem. No, that's really good. And
I
so
can speak 3 languages fluently.
let's try the other one. This sentence here.
Okay. He can talk about his feelings easily.
Much,
He
much
can
better.
talk about his feelings easily.
Yes, you've got it. That was
I follow you. Can you say I follow you?
Okay. He can talk about his feelings easily.
Okay. He can talk about his feelings easily.
Lovely. You've got
Okay.
it, Prasanna.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
I'm going to
Nice
turn
to.
on your microphone.
Thank you
again.
so much for giving me this option.
No problem. It was lovely hearing you. Bye. Okay, and Salah's just told me that his microphone was not working, so totally understand. Maybe next time, hopefully, if your microphone is working, Salah, we can try this again. But thank you very much, everyone. I've run out of time to have more people speaking, but I would love to hear from you guys next time. So please make sure if you want to have a go, that your microphone has that option turned on and I can try other people. So what I want you guys to do is come back and try this yourself, and that way you can get your own analysis and look at your own results and see how you're going with your speaking. So what I'm going to do now is stop sharing that screen and jump to the Facebook page so that everyone can have access to the link there. Here comes the Facebook page. Here we go. Okay, so adding that to the chat now for you. So if you are not part of the Facebook group, please just click on that and go and join the group. Just make sure that when you click join group, you move down the box and answer the questions. The last question is about group rules and you need to tick yes. If you don't see the box for ticking yes, try it on a computer. It seems to be better on a computer for some reason. But then if you do that, I can say yes and add you to the group. And then go in and answer some of the questions. Try writing your own sentences. If you want to find other people to chat with, add your own comment and do that too. So that is the end of our lesson today. So what do you need to do next? Well, you need to, first of all, if you have any questions for me, type them in the chat box and I will get to those now. If you feel great and you feel like you know what you're doing, what you need to do is now go and try that lesson for yourself. So don't forget that we're looking at the listening skill, the reading skill, and the vocabulary skill. And all of these will be sport and lesson 3 competition, and you'll be able to find them all. Oh, and don't forget the grammar, that's under verbs. So we were looking at the modal verbs. Yes, listening, reading, and vocabulary. Those are the 3 we looked at today. And so that is your job. And hopefully you'll feel much more confident with the vocabulary, at least for Friday's lesson, which will be focusing on the speaking and the writing skills. And so that means I will be back again next week on Monday with you, and we will be up to a new topic, new lesson. So good luck with this and finish off your sports topic, and I'll see you next week. Let me just double check if I've got any questions. Thank you guys for the compliments. It's always nice to see those. And I'm glad you enjoyed the class. And so it looks like no questions, which is a great thing because that tells me that you guys were understanding. I love it. So that means that's it for today from me, and I will see you again next week. So bye and stay safe.